All of a sudden, need a nap? Johnny needs a nap.
No, I don't.
What do you need, Red Bull? Coffee.
No, I'm good.
Let's see if anyone pops on. We're going to do this live, but then we're also going to post it to our YouTube, so if you can't watch it live. I put this clear nail polish over my nail, and I messed it up, so peeling that off. Anyways, so we... It's Johnny's 8 years of being sober. And if he would never have gotten sober, we would not have the life that we have today.
Isn't that crazy?
But we wanted to, we've shared bits and pieces of our story, like when we've done trainings for people, you know, and things like that. But we've never really shared our story, like from the nitty gritty top to bottom. So.
You want to do that here?
We're going to do that. And Johnny's a little scared, I think. Yeah, but we're going to share our little selves before we met each other, just a little tidbit. And then, because that obviously makes who we are today and whatever. So we are going to share that. And then our little Scentsy story, how we came to Scentsy from... Started from the bottom, now we here.
Stop.
Okay, so Johnny, you can go first.
You can go first because you're older.
I'm older?
Yeah.
Wow. Why'd you have to say that?
Because it's true.
Okay, so before I met Johnny, I was in a lot of relationships and...
Jeez, don't say it like that.
Well, I mean, I guess not a lot. I was in, like, relationships that lasted a very long time. Fresh out of high school. And most of them were either physically, mentally, or emotionally abusive. And I didn't follow through on things that I needed to do because I was always basing my life on whoever I was with. So I graduated high school, went to school to be a medical assistant for like a minute. It was really good. I could do like pharmacology tests, and like ace them. I have a really photographic memory, and so, yeah, I'm kind of crazy because of my photographic memory. But, yeah, so, I didn't finish. I dropped out because of a fella, and,
Not this fella.
no. So I dropped out of school, and then in July of, what year was Zoe born? 2013?
Yeah.
So in July of 2012, I, got pregnant and ended up losing, the baby, and like 2 weeks later was pregnant with Zoe. She's our little fro-headed child. And yeah, that was a pretty crummy, I mean, to be honest, it was a pretty crummy relationship. And I allowed it to go on for far too long. We finally, I moved to Idaho. I was living in Spokane, Washington, and I finally moved to Idaho with my brother, and then had Zoe in April of 2013. And yeah, that was rough. I had no self-esteem and was pretty much the lowest of the low at that point. And that went on for another year, right? Yeah, that went on for another year. And
Yeah, because it was a year.
yeah, so then in May of
16.
May
No,
of
14.
2014,
Sorry, 2014.
there was a really bad fight, and it just got really violent, and I decided that I could not allow my child to witness a relationship like that. I did not want her to think that was how relationships were supposed to go. Oh, she's still carrying that hamster around. So I prayed a lot, And it was Mother's Day weekend, and I prayed that God would help me to have no feelings toward this person. And so he did. I remember going to what?
She just dropped the hamster.
Where?
He like fell out of her hands and onto the couch.
So I prayed that God would take away all feelings for that person and that I would be able to get out of that relationship. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's kind of yucky, but why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing.
Oh, okay. Because it's kind of yucky, but I prayed, and then I went to church at Grace Bible Church in Nampa with Pastor Keith, and he spoke on breaking free.
Breaking chains.
Yeah, breaking chains that are holding you back and things like that. And so I just kept praying that God would help me. If I was supposed to get out of this situation, that he would give me the strength. And then not only would he give me the strength, but he would help those feelings to go away so that I didn't have to deal with that. Because that was the hard part, is that I would leave but then come back because of my emotions and feelings, which lie to you. They're liars. Anyway, so I left. He left. I sent him back to his family in Spokane, and
They were taking a break.
Shut up. I raised Zoe by myself with my mom
For
and
like 6
grandma's help
weeks.
for like 6 weeks, and then so that
They
was
were
Mother's
taking
Day
a break.
weekend. Shut up.
This is where it gets funny because they were taking a break.
I wanna
6
take a
weeks
break.
later.
6 weeks later, again, I was just praying that I would find someone that I could spend time with. And I asked a friend at work. I worked at T-Mobile at the time. I was a top representative for T-Mobile, the call center. And I asked my friend while we were out, she was on a smoke break and we were sitting outside in the patio. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm really like bored. I'd just like someone to go to the movies with or something. So do you have anybody? And she's like, yeah, just look at my Facebook friends and tell me who you think is cute. And I was like, and then I'll tell you if they're single. And I was like, oh, okay. So I looked at Johnny's picture, it comes up, and it was him and a little girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cute, like whatever, but I don't want someone that has kids. And my friend was like, well, he has 3 kids. And I was like, oh, and he has crazy baby mama drama. And I was like, oh, no, but he's cute, like whatever. So she's like, well, add him on Facebook and start messaging him. So I just started messaging him. Mm-hmm. And he was thrilled that I was messaging him. Some crazy stranger was messaging him for no reason. What do you think, babe?
I thought you were weird.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, why is this person messaging me? Because I'd never done anything like that before. Started talking to someone over the internet, like that. Facebook was like so fresh and barely getting going back then. So then my friend messaged me and she's like, hey, so I want you to meet someone. So I was like, oh sure, yeah, I'll meet someone. She's like, she's gonna add you on Facebook. And I was like, oh, we're meeting on Facebook? That's weird. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's normal now, but like back then I was like, sure, whatever, like I guess.
So then, yeah, I added him on Facebook, and I was always raised really sheltered, so I didn't know what drugs were. I mean, I knew what they were, but I'd never seen them, never experienced it, never knew. I didn't know what marijuana was till I was 21. Like, I was very sheltered.
I was like 21 hours old when I knew
Very-
what marijuana was.
Very sheltered, I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. I was homeschooled for most of my life. What, Evie?
What, Evie?
What do you need, Ev?
Oh, yay, right when we get this going.
Can't.
Hey,
Wait.
Kanan. Hey, Kanan.
Okay.
Now you wake up.
So, yeah. I was always very sheltered. So, he posts on his Facebook one day.
Oh, gosh. This is
Hi.
embarrassing.
He posts on his Facebook one day that he needed a ride somewhere to Caldwell. And I was like, oh, okay, awesome. Like, sure, I'll give you a ride. And then he was like, okay, yeah, it's just to the drug. I got to go take a drug test. I got to go pee in a cup at this thing. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? You have to do what? Oh, my gosh. And my mom, when I told her that I had met someone, oh, my gosh, like, I met someone. And she was like, cool, like, whatever, you know, because I had just gotten out of a relationship that was very awful. And so she, of course, was not, like, not thrilled at all.
I think her grandma tried to intentionally ruin the relationship because when we first met, her grandma was like, oh, is this the guy from the car wash? And I was like, the car wash? And Dee's like, oh my gosh, Grandma, shut up.
Yeah, I had been washing my car a couple days before, and this guy at the car wash asked for my phone number. And so I told my grandma about it. I never called the guy or anything, never gave him my real phone number, but I had told my grandma about it, so she's all trying to sabotage the relationship already.
That's funny.
So yeah, I took him to his drug test, which was so awkward. I will never forget the day when he came out wearing these baggy pants and an orange Texas Longhorns shirt and a matching Texas Longhorns hat and red and white and gray Nike shoes, Nike Shock shoes. Yeah, I'll never forget it. So I took him to this drug test and I was like, oh yeah, he's pretty cool, whatever. And then I think the second time he posted that he needed a ride somewhere, and it was to drop his kids off with their mother. And that was we had been hanging out, a few days at that point? And for us, it was like, we were cool, immediately. So I took him to take the kids to drop them off with their mom. So when I met him, he was, the kids were actually under CPS custody. So he only got to see them, right before we met, he only got to see them in a room at the Health and Welfare Office. He was only allowed visitation in a room at the Health and Welfare Office. But when we started hanging out, he was allowed 48-hour visits on the weekend.
Yeah.
Something like that. 48-hour visits on the weekend. So I drove him to take the kids back. And I just remember that I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're screaming and pounding on my windows and, throwing stuff out the windows and rolling up and down my, what's it called? Wow, really? Cool, show Kanan. Yeah, so I thought they were so cute and whatever, and then I met their birth mom, and it was so awkward. She was telling Johnny that she loved him and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, I thought you weren't together, and it was so awkward.
That was one of the weirdest moments of our relationship.
Yeah, we were driving in my car. I had this little gray Volkswagen, and he was in the passenger side, and she kept coming to the door and trying to pull him out the door, telling him that she loved him. It was so awkward, and I was like, oh, cool, that's great. And yeah, so what else happened? We had our first date on June 19th, 2014. And I had never been taken out to dinner, so he took me out to dinner and paid for everything, and my fake eyelash was falling off during the date, and he told me about it, and I almost punched him. I was like, that is not something you say. You just keep your mouth shut. That is not something you say.
That thing's falling off. That's not normal.
Yeah, so then after that, we were inseparable.
Yeah.
He used to work at Fran's Bakery.
Night shift.
And we would talk for hours and hours and hours. While he worked, he would have headphones on, and we would just talk for hours and hours and hours. And then that was in June. That's funny, Kim. That was in June, and then we kept getting visits with the kids. So I obviously had full custody of mine, Zoe, and she would, hang out with me or hang out with my mom. I had my own house at the time. And so then he would get the kids and they'd come hang out, and he basically lived over there. But we did the whole no sex before marriage because we wanted to do it very different than we had in our previous relationships.
Your eyelash pet is leaving its post.
Seriously? That's funny. But yeah, we wanted to do it very differently. So he did come over a lot, and the kids were over there all the time. And then, we decided, because of the condition, the kids would come in. Hey, don't leave her. She's going to freak out. Because of the condition, the kids would come in. Oh, okay. Tell her to be gentle. Because of the condition the kids would come in, they would literally be sent in a diaper and nothing else, or dirty, and it was just really hard. And I, again, only had one kid. I'd never dealt with anything like this before. He was doing random drug tests all the time, anger management classes that he paid $40 every week for, or twice a week. something like that. He went all the time to anger management classes because in his previous relationship, he was accused of domestic violence. Just a hot mess. A hot mess. I'm surprised my mom let me date him.
Like you would have said, okay, mom.
Well,
Okay, mom.
he was a hot mess. Yeah, you can feel free to jump in at any
No,
time.
you're doing just fine.
But okay, so that brings us to we're together. So you can tell your part of the story.
No, you can keep going. It's
Oh,
fine.
come on.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to talk about it. It's hard. Okay, so I grew up with the most perfect childhood. Like, I literally, looking back, cannot thank my mom and dad for the life that they gave me. They literally did everything for me. Literally everything they did for me. If I wanted Pokemon cards at 11:30 at night, I knew that there was a card shop that didn't close till midnight. So my parents would drive me to go get my Pokemon cards. Literally perfect childhood. Up until I was like 7 or 8, I think it was, maybe younger. I used to stay up and sit outside my parents' bedroom door. Like it was like the perfect shot from their bedroom door to their TV. So I would literally sit like outside. There was like this little space of wall between my room and theirs, and I would sit at that space, tucked away right there, just watching their TV. They didn't even know. And they would have their little adult talks, and most nights I would not listen. I would just be entertained to whatever they were watching. And one night my dad said my name, and it caught my attention. And he told my mom that they needed to talk to me, that they needed to tell me that they couldn't keep the secret anymore from me, and that it was time that they talked to me. And so, me being that nosy age that I was then, immediately popped up, and I was like, hey, what do we got to talk about? I'm right here. Let's do it right now. And I think that was probably the last time I ever did something that bold. To talk about something like that right there and then. Because I don't do it now. But yeah, they broke the news that they were actually my grandparents. My mom was my oldest sister's. My oldest sister all of a sudden became my real mom. She was my mom. So it was kind of like this like really life crushing like news for me at that age. And it kind of was the beginning to the downfall of my life, the downward spiral of my life. My perfect childhood went away after that. After that,
How old were you then?
I was like 6 or 7 when that happened. After that, I all of a sudden had a new mom. I had this nephew and these nieces that were nieces and my nephew for such a long time were all of a sudden my brother and sister. So of course, naturally, I wanted to go be with them. I wanted to go spend time with them. I wanted to go be one of those kids. I wanted to be wild and free like they were, because they were wild and free. My brother got to do whatever the heck he wanted. He got to go ride his bike at whatever time of the day he wanted. He can go spend time as much time as he wanted at his friend's house. And me, I was living in a perfect little blissful life and protected in my little cozy apartment and, protected from the outside world. So as soon as I realized, oh, that's my real mom. Oh, those are my real siblings. Oh, that's where I'm supposed to live. That's where I wanted to be. So that's where I spent a lot of my time after that. And, it wasn't good times there. I love my mom. I love my mom now. We didn't have the greatest relationship growing up, me and my birth mom. We had a really, really, really rocky relationship. I felt a lot of things that a child should not feel. I've heard a lot of things that a child should not hear. And I don't bring this up to say anything bad about my mom now. I absolutely love who she is now. She's trying harder now to be a mom and to be a good nana to my kids, which I love and appreciate. So whatever I say today, if any of my siblings see this or if my mom sees this, just know that I'm not saying this to talk ill of you. I'm not saying this to hurt feelings. I'm saying this because it's my life and it's my story to share. But living with my mom was not easy. It was It was hard. She chose a lifestyle that I don't wish any parent to choose when they have kids, ever. And I was exposed to a lot of things that a kid should not be exposed to. It makes me sad for... Well, that is crazy.
What?
My uncle just messaged me. He never messages me. I can't even imagine the things that my siblings were exposed to. The little bit that I was exposed to during the time that I lived with my mom, I can't even imagine being her full-time kid. And I say that like wholeheartedly. I don't mean anything bad, guys. I promise you. But I can't imagine all the things that they went through. But what I went through, it was not fun. It was not great. It was things that a little boy should not go through. Things happened to me that should not have happened to me. Just a lot of dark things. It was a crazy time, my childhood. Which is why I am very, very, very grateful for the life that my parents gave me before that stupid night. Because my mom probably would have talked my dad out of it. But yeah, I'm very grateful for what they did. But my life after that was crazy. I think that those things led to my rebellion as a teenager. I remember I wasn't always a good kid. Like, I was spoiled because my mom made me spoiled. She loved me a lot, and she made sure that everybody knew that, and that if they touched me or looked at me wrong, they were gonna get hurt, and they did. So, I wasn't always the greatest kid, but I remember before everything happened to me, I was a happy kid. I don't remember any sadness before that.
That's my
But after that, going into 5th grade, 6th grade, the years after everything happened, I was not nice. I was not nice to anybody. I don't remember really even having, it was rare that I had good friends. Because I pushed everyone away. So, this is why I didn't want to do this. So I spent a lot of time alone. I think because of what happened to me, I felt like I needed to connect to adults more than kids. So, I would literally stay after school longer to do extra credit work just to sit by my teacher's desk, just so that I had an adult to talk to. Because I didn't feel like kids my age understood me because of what I've gone through. So, I didn't really have great friends growing up. I had a couple friends, like, till this day that I talk to. And I love them to death, but growing up, I just did not feel a strong connection to anybody. Not to my mom, not to my siblings, not to anybody. Even towards the parents that raised me, I pushed away from them. So anyways, teenage years, I got into drugs. I feel like everything that happened to me just made me angry, it made me cold. I didn't feel emotion, I did not care. I remember one time I went bike riding with my brother, and he got hurt, and that time was like for the first time in so long that I had felt any kind of like emotion towards anything. And moments like that were very few and far between. Like, I didn't experience them much. But I think that because of that, I just fell into a darker path of life, and I ended up doing drugs. I ended up started smoking pot when I was like 12. heavy pot smoker at like high school years, going into freshman year, like stoned as crap. Leaving freshman, let's be real, I didn't even make it into the high school freshman day because mom dropped me off and I was like, peace out, I'm out, I'm going to get high. And I did.
Did your mom know? Did Ruthie know?
Not till later.
She had no suspicion.
Well, she did this one time, because this one time she found a bag of weed in my drawer. But then she found out that I got it from an uncle, so then the blame went to the uncle and not to me.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So it was good. She didn't ever think I had a problem after that. But yeah, high school, I remember by like 11th, 12th grade, I was like taking full water bottles of vodka to work or to school.
How old?
11th grade, 12th grade. I got expelled from high school because of marijuana. We were in a shed. Oh my gosh, we were in a shed smoking out of an apple. Officer walked in, and he grabbed the. I know it's nothing to laugh about, but like he grabbed the apple from my friend's hand, and he was like, "You're smoking out of an apple? Why don't you just smoke out of a cat?" And my friend, we were stoned already by that time, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to kill the cat." It was so funny. But we got expelled. I did not have a good childhood. I ended up having to I came up with, this is where my life dramatically starts to change, and I don't even realize it. This is before I got into meth. I had to make a choice. Either go back to school and do in-house school probation or in-house or in-school probation or something like that. I had to do with, and at the time, the guy who worked as the probation officer for the school, his name was Sean Guajardo, and I did not like him one tiny bit. So,
not the school one, because we can't go to that one.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
oh, because they're at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You can take the.
We're taking the white car because her car seat and then Annie's car seat.
Okay.
Okay.
It needs gas though, so I can transfer money or something.
No, I'll just put this.
So they said do in-school probation with Sean Guajardo, and I said no, thank you. What's my second choice? And I think it was the counselor at the time. I think that's who was talking about it. She says, well, you can try Job Corps. And there's several locations that you can choose from, even some as far as like California or even Florida if I wanted to. And going far away from home did not seem like a good idea to me. I still felt. Wait, you open it? I wasn't gonna open it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Girl, it's my phone.
Sorry, man. What did she say?
Going far away from home did not sound like a good idea to me, even though a lot of bad things happened at home, even though life was not great at home. I did not want to leave far from home. So I came here to Little Old Idaho.
So he lived in Tri-Cities, Washington?
Yeah.
And I lived in Spokane. We lived literally 2 hours away from each other.
Yeah, our entire lives, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of high school, I ended up coming here to Idaho. I was 17. Got my GED a month after getting here. And then also met the biggest mistake of my life at Job Corps. I will say that every single day until the day I die. I may have gotten 3 kids from this person, but still, biggest mistake of my life is this person who I met at 17 years old. I did not know anything about real relationships. I did not know what a good relationship was because I had pushed my mom and dad away so far away that I lost sight of their beautiful relationship up until like recently. So any idea of what a decent relationship should be, I had no idea. I had no idea what that was supposed to be. Right before I ended up here in Idaho at Job Corps, I remember I went to go spend time with my mom in Phoenix, and I just remember she was in a relationship with this guy, and he like literally beat the crap out of her in front of us, and for 3 days we had to ride on a freaking Greyhound bus back to Washington with my mom black and blue in the face because she got beat up. So by the time I went to Job Corps and I started this relationship, I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. A lot of things happened to that relationship that give me nightmares now. I was exposed to a lot of to more things. I didn't really know. I knew what drugs were. back then marijuana was considered a drug, but now it's real. It's really not. So like to me back then marijuana wasn't really a drug. So that was really all I ever did. But then I met this girl, and you know, she ended up pregnant pretty fast, and we ended up having Yesenia, which is my oldest. You know, not even a year after we had met, you know, we had a kid already, and then she ended up pregnant again pretty fast. And I always tell Dee that I didn't know what love was back then. Like, I knew that I didn't really love her. I knew that she had my kids, and I think I was like grateful for that, I guess. But I knew that I didn't really ever love her, because 7 years that I wasted with her, never once did I think about marrying her. Never once did I think about creating a bigger and better life with her. Never once did I want that for us, because she didn't bring me that happiness. I think she was lost in her own stuff, and she had her own things going on, and she had never recovered from things that happened to her as a kid. And she brought that into the relationship. We both brought our own demons into the relationship, but she brought heavy demons into the relationship. And it ended up exposing me and the kids to a lot of things. A life that I never wanted my kids to have. A life that I never wanted to have. It's just crazy to look back at now. But yeah, I went through that, suffered 7 years of craziness. Within that 7 years, I found cocaine, which was my weekend drug. And I literally, like, Monday through Friday morning. Oh gosh, it's sad. It's not funny. I was not doing anything besides smoking pot throughout the week, because that's what I always did. But then Friday night would come around, and I would start doing coke for the weekend, and it was called my weekend drug. And pretty soon Mondays became part of the weekend, and then pretty soon Tuesdays were part of the weekend, and then pretty soon it was a week-long drug. It was no longer a weekend drug. It was a week-long drug. And I got heavy into coke, really, really bad for a long time. And then one of my aunts, she just got sentenced to a lot of time in prison. She's 10 years older than me. She's 40. At the time, she was 34. I was 24. No, 20. She was 32. I was 22. I went to go hang out with her. It was actually my birthday. It was my 22nd birthday. I met up with her, and at that time, again, I was only doing coke and weed. I mean,
Only. And I didn't even know what that was till I was 21. He's like, how old were you?
Gosh,
24.
22.
Oh my God.
And went to go hang out with her, and she exposed me to crack cocaine, and then later on that night, it turned into meth.
Someone's ringing the doorbell. Hang
Well,
on.
it didn't turn into meth. We ended up with meth. Yeah, once I found meth, I did not let that go. I even stopped smoking pot, because meth became my main source of life, basically, at that time. Once I was exposed to that, I literally lost control of everything. At the time, I didn't have the kids around. Their mom had taken them. Things had ended up really bad between us, and she ended up taking the kids, and so I didn't have them. I just got to talk to them, you know, whenever she felt like I was allowed to or deserved to in her eyes. So I didn't really get to see them that much at this point. So I didn't have my kids, thank God. But I was alone. I was in the Tri-Cities all by myself while my kids were here in Idaho. I was home in Tri-Cities with my aunt, and we partied, and we partied, and we partied, and we partied, and we never stopped partying. And I don't think I stopped partying for another 2 years. I think that I got lost in drugs like that, and I'm thankful. I know it sounds like, oh my gosh, people go through longer, and like 2 years lost of your life to drugs is a long time. You basically stop growing mentality-wise when you're doing drugs, because you're numbing yourself. You're not really doing anything to better enhance your brain activity, to better enhance yourself, like anything. So you basically just stop growing, like, mentally. And I remember, like, when I came off of it, I was like, what do I even do with my life? Like, I just let 2 years go by. Like, what do I do with my life now? Like, how do I even pick up the pieces to where, like, I just wasted 2 years of my life. Like, what am I supposed to do now? So it was crazy. Oh, sorry, we just had a work email come through. So what was I saying? I totally
You wasted 2 years of your life.
Yeah,
You spent 2 years.
yeah, it was insane to think like that I spent that much time, and I can't even imagine to think of like the money that I spent on that drug. Like, it's crazy, and the things that I did in order to get it. Like, it's scary. Like, sometimes it's hard for me to even think like, how does God forgive some of the things that I did? You know, I did a lot of things to hurt people, and it, like, thinking back now, I'm like, if something bad happens to me today, I probably deserve it because of what I did back in the day. So when something bad does happen today, I'm like, you know, this could be a lot worse. So anyways, that's pretty much my life story. I was lost in drugs from 22 until right before I turned 24. Maybe it was 21 that I started doing drugs. Heavy drugs, heavy, like meth. But it was definitely 2 years that I was lost in it. And then, right before my 24th birthday.
I was trying to find out one shoe, and I found this.
What's that?
Jeremiah's phone that he lost.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found it when I was trying to find out.
Where'd you find it at?
On the ground by the closet.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Well, so yeah, then after I kicked drugs, I got arrested, got out, and went to go live in my aunt and uncle's garage. And I think that was the best thing. And that, you want to know what's funny is that they are my aunt and uncle. They are my aunt and uncle 1000%. But they're actually technically related to the kids' mom more than to me. But they just like me more. So when I got out of jail, I had literally came to Idaho to swap my kids off because I had finally gotten one of my kids. And so we were doing a swap, and
He trusted her.
yeah, I trusted her that nothing would happen, and I ended up getting arrested. I had a warrant, and they called the cops, so I ended up getting arrested, which was like one of the best things that ever happened to me. Looking back now, I'm not angry about it. I was then because I had to go to jail, but now, looking back at it, it was the start to the life that I have now. So, ended up getting arrested, and when I got out, I literally had no one else to call here. I had no friends. I had really nobody to lean on. And the only person that I can think of was her aunt. And so I called her and I said, hey, I'm out of jail and I have nobody to help me. Like, can I come to your house and my mom will pay for me to go home? Like, if you don't let me stay even the night, like, she'll pay for me to go home tonight or stay at the Greyhound or a motel near the Greyhound. Like, I just need somewhere to go that's not by this jail. And she came and picked me up, and I think even before we got home, she had decided that she was going to help me out before even talking to her husband. Because when he came home from work, she was like, oh, Johnny's here and he's going to be staying in the garage. And he was like, cool. And they helped me out. They were a huge part to my story. There were so many times that I wanted to fall back into the same lifestyle. There were so many times where I was trying to hang out with the same people, trying to hang out with the same friends. And finally, one day, my uncle took me aside and he said, you know what, dude? You're an adult. You're almost 24 years old. You've got 3 kids. I can't really tell you what to do or how to live your life, but I'm just going to tell you one thing. If you want to be a better person, start hanging out with better people. And to me, that was the most life-changing advice I had ever gotten in my life. After that, I did exactly that. I started hanging out with people who had better things than me. At the time, I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything to call my own, really. I didn't have none of that stuff. So I started to seek friendships with people who had that stuff, people who had their own cars, people who had their own lives, and that kind of led me to her. She had her own thing. She had her own life going on, and I wanted that. So then I met her, and I was like, I kind of want that, and I want her.
My little
so
sugar mama.
what's going on?
Oh gosh.
You want yourself a little bummy? Because here I am.
She made his life a living, you know what? I remember, didn't she show up at Tammy and Manny's?
Yeah. Yep.
Showed up at the house trying to get him
a no contact order in place, and I after that last time that I went to jail, I was like, I'm done. I'm never going around her. I don't ever want to be like, I don't want to go back to jail. Like, I don't want to go back there. Not that it was horrible here in Canyon County. Jail is like a vacation to a parent now, but I didn't want to go back there. It was my freedom taken away from me, so I refused. So one time she came over to pick up the kids, and she like walked into the house, and I like literally jolted out the back door, jumped the neighbor's fence, jumped the other neighbor's fence, and was like halfway down the block by the time my aunt called me, and she's like, I made her leave, you can come home now. I was like, oh, I'm almost by my work, and work was like 6 minutes away on a drive, but I made it halfway in a walk, run, sprint. And she was like, well, where are you? Because I'm going to pick you up. This is your home. I kicked her out. She will never be allowed here, and you do not ever have to fear of going back to jail as long as you live in my house. And she did. She never let her to come back. She told her that day, like, I love you. You're my niece. I want the best for you. But this man's trying to better his life. And she was still, at the time, still doing her stuff in that world. And so Aunt Tammy told her, like, you gotta go, girl. Like, you can't stay here, and my nephew needs to come home. This is his home, so it's time for you to go. Don't ever come to my house again. So she tried multiple times where she would call, and literally the cops came. She had already been gone, and literally the cops came, and they're like, we heard there's a no contact order violation going on. Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to jail. I already had my hands behind my back. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, oh my gosh, and they were like, no, if like she's trying to basically like trap you, then we're gonna trust that you weren't like being intentional breaking it. So it was little things like that. I remember one time when her and I met, and she found out that we were together. She claimed to be pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just remember like she told me, and I was like, oh, freaking great. Oh, she's pregnant.
Because little Mr. Sir over here followed the wrong brain and
one stupid moment of temptation, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know why.
It was stupid, okay? So then I fell into that trap, and like having to tell this girl, like, here she was, little Miss Thing had her own thing together, and I was like, crap, she's not gonna want to stay with me. She's not gonna want to put up with me. I've already got 3 kids. She thought I had the one. Then I surprised her with 2 more. No, she's not gonna want to stay with me. But she was like, whatever, we'll make it work. Which surprised
She was
me.
never pregnant. She lied.
Yeah, she wasn't.
She had a miscarriage. She lied about the whole thing. But
Yeah.
she was crazy. So when I say crazy baby mama drama, it was like that typical, they probably were on Maury at one point and Judge Judy too. Something.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she was crazy when we first started hanging out.
So, yeah, that's my life.
Yeah, she would have the kids. I mean, we had to go get the kids one time because she had no food for them. She was at the women's shelter, and apparently her food was stolen, so she asked us to take the kids. There was times when they were shot at in a house because she stole somebody's drugs. There was times when, oh my gosh, just awful, horrific stories of things that happened to the 2 girls, not Zeph. Just awful things that happened in her care, which is why when we first got together, after a couple weeks of seeing how the kids were coming, the stories that they would tell us, like she would have them pee in a cup to pass her drug tests so that CPS was on her side. Mm-hmm. And so he had to go to CPS court all the time to like try and get the kids back and whatever. They had him going through all these hoops, classes, fines that he had to pay, probation.
I literally did triple the work that she had to do for CPS, and it seemed like anytime I made progress that should have gotten me 5 steps further, they were like, oh, well, here's 1 step, but you still have to do these 10,000 other things before you get your other 4 steps. So it was just really hard for me as a dad in the Idaho system fighting CPS. I'm sure it's not easy anywhere, but here in Idaho, there's like this grant or something that the CPS system gets for reuniting the kids with the parent that they were taken from. So because I wasn't the parent who they were taken from, and I wasn't there when they were taken from the mom, they did everything that they could in their power to make sure that she got them back.
He was in jail when the kids were taken,
Mm-hmm.
and she had overdosed and passed out. And Yesenia, the oldest, had to run across the street to the neighbors and call 911. That's when the kids were taken. So because he was in
4
jail
at the time.
Yeah. And when we first started dating, Senya would like give the kids baths. She would cook dinner for them at 4 years old.
She knew how to make pancakes at 4 years old.
Yeah, and macaroni and cheese. I will never forget it. And it was just crazy. Again, I was like oblivious. I had no idea what drugs were. I had no idea like that even the smell could make him want to relapse. I had no idea that anything about anything. I was clueless. But when
there are times when I turn on our kitchen stove and I don't know what it is. There's like this film or something that's like collected on this our glass top stove, and when we turn it on sometimes it gives off this really foul odor, and it's really sweet. It's really it's just really meth like smell, and I hate it because every time it like that happens, it just creates like this watery feeling in my mouth, and I get like this really like tingly feelings in my knees and my elbows, and I want to like kind of start like itching, and it's gross that I still get that taste. It's hard to fight that urge some days. Is even right now talking about it, it's making my mouth drool, and it's making me gotta poop, because that's what meth does. Anytime that I knew that I was gonna go buy some drugs, I was like, well, before we go, I gotta go poop. And then as soon as we got home with the drugs, I had to go poop before we did them. So it's just weird how like even now it's giving me that urge just talking about it. It's just weird. It's a weird drug. It just holds these weird like chains on you. It's gross, but Jesus is real. Just know that. Give me some water.
Give me some water. Yeah, so when we first met, it was pretty much awful, and CPS had full custody of the kids. And like when we first met, they had to have my driver's license and all this stuff just because we were dating, and it was crazy. Again, I was like oblivious to it.
Who came by?
Oh my gosh. That guy to bring the cutting boards for those things. Anyways, and so we then decided like, okay, a couple months in, it was June that we met, and
by
July we were like, okay, we're gonna get married. We're gonna get married. We want to show the judge that we're serious and that we have a better place for these kids. And then at that point, he was fighting. I mean, he was doing what they asked, but
I think I had started to lose my fight. Like I had, like the fight within me was starting to like wear off, because I was doing all this work. I literally was doing all of this work, going to all of these stupid classes. I even took some of the classes twice with the same instructor so that I can tell them like, guys, I'm doing this. I'm being serious. I want my kids. Give them back to me. And I think it was like a year and a half of doing that, and I just got tired. I got worn out and felt defeated, and so
yeah, so we decided, okay, this is what. Well, I was very pushy. I told him once I found out there was a no contact order, I said, you are never speaking to her again, ever, if you want this relationship to work. So you will not talk to her again as long as there's no contact order. Because she would do that all the time. She would text him and be like, oh, do you want to see the kids? And of course he'd go. And then if she got mad at him, she would call the cops and he'd be arrested. And the last time we had met right after he got out, they said, if you violate this again, you're in there for a long time, because it was like your fourth violation, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, heck no. Like, no. So, yeah, I told him.
You know when they say girls always go back to guys and it just seems dumb? Just know that guys do the same thing. And I did it not because of the girl. Like, trust me, the girl was nothing. It was gross. But my kids is what I kept going back to. I just felt like I was their safe place. I just knew that the life that she was living still wasn't a safe one. So I just kept going back. Guys, I'm not an idiot. I promise you guys. I'm an idiot for my kids. That's about it.
Yeah, so we decided that we were going to go for full custody. So we put it out there who was a good lawyer. We met a lady named Dina Moore with Williams and Moore Law, and we met with her, told her our story, and she was like, okay, I'm going to advocate for you. I'm going to help you. So she fought CPS with us. That was in August, and your mom moved up in August. Mm-hmm. So then his mom also moved in with me in August, and he was living with me. No, we were not having sex. We said that we would not do that. And we did not. It might have got close a few times, but we did not. But then his mom came to live with us as well. And so That was in August. So then we got married in September 6th.
Yep.
So a few months in. We got married in a friend of mine's backyard. She was an ordained minister. She did our wedding for us. All his family got to come.
Fun fact, our wedding anniversary is the same anniversary as the aunt and uncle whose garage I lived in.
Yeah, and she gifted me her wedding dress, which fit like a glove for our wedding.
Yep, we went to go buy it from her, and she was like, nope, this is your wedding present.
Yeah, it was amazing. So,
Those two have a big part of our story, even though they don't even
they're
realize it.
really similar to us too, like personality wise and stuff. She's white, he's Mexican. She's crazy, he's chill. But yeah, so
She's crazy, all right. I love her.
We pushed for full custody. So I worked at T-Mobile at the time. I took on tons of extra shifts. I would work overnight shifts. I would just work throughout the night on iPhone launches, and just worked to make enough money to pay for an attorney. So we paid for an attorney. We fought CPS. We got married in September, and then October 14th or 24th.
24th.
October 24th, we got a
finally
new
beat-
judge for CPS. Judge,
Gosh, what was his name?
I don't know, you wrote him a letter though, or we never sent it.
What was his
I don't
name?
know, but Judge something was amazing, and he said, Jennifer, you can have the kid, like, we'll work this out if you can pass a hair follicle test. I'm gonna test you. And Kim, the CPS case manager,
Bless your heart. Kim.
she said,
In front of the judge.
in front of the judge, she said, we're not her probation officer. I don't feel the need to drug test her. She can do drugs on the weekend as long as she's not doing it during the week when she has the kids.
In front of the judge.
She's passing all her UAs. She was passing her UAs because the kids were peeing in a cup for her. But she said that in front of the judge. The judge said, nope, she has to pass a hair follicle. She,
Did she deny it or not?
no, she took it and they found traces of all stuff in there. That's when we learned she was on heroin. And so the judge granted Johnny full parental custody at that time, and CPS vacated the case after 18 months of having full custody of the kids. They said it was one of the longest cases that they've seen, that it went that long with no resolution or reunification with the parent or
Which
adoption
was mind-blowing
or
to
whatever.
the judge, because the judge saw everything that I had put in, and they were like, why haven't you guys reunited this father with his kids a long time ago? Like, what are you guys waiting for? And that's when the caseworker was like, oh, well, we're just fighting really hard for unification with the mom and la 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 la. And the
Yeah.
judge was like, why? She's not doing anything to benefit these kids. She's not doing anything to benefit herself. Why do you want these children with the mom?
Yeah.
And that's when it all just unfolded with the hair follicle test, and it was crazy, but it all unfolded amazingly. He was like, I'm done with this. Like, the CPS case is over with. We're now going to move on to, like, actual legal custody. Like, CPS is closed and vacated, and goodbye. And they exited the room, and then we started on our other case.
So yeah, then we got a case date for April with the same judge. He was going to do our custody case.
Yeah.
Yes, God was working for sure, Kim. We actually prayed. We had people praying. We had the pastor of the church praying. Everyone was covering us in prayer that
Especially when it came to the judges, because their mom, like my kids' mom, birth mom, she had the support of an aunt who kind of knew her way around the system or whatever, and so she convinced she convinced her to get a motion to
petition to have the judge taken off.
yeah, and it went through. So, like, we had to pray over, like, the right judge. We were like, this can just all take us back to square one. Like, this, what she just did, can take us back to square one. Like, this is scary. And so we got a new judge, Judge Sullivan.
Jamie Sullivan.
Bless her. I love her.
Young. She's super young.
Yeah. She was with us, I think 2 court dates.
2 or 3. The first one, the birth mom said that she was going to kill the judge.
Yeah. So the judge asked everybody, like, oh, everyone has their, their legal representation. You guys have your lawyers picked out, whatever. And we were like, yep, we've got ours. We have kick-ass Dina. She's going to fight for us. We got this. And then the judge was asking her, like, okay, so who's your lawyer? What's going on? And she was like, I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? And the judge was like, well, you need someone to represent you. Like, do you have someone here? Like, what's your plan? And she was like, I'm going to represent myself. And the judge kind of, like, laughed at her. And I felt bad. But she, like, was like, do you know what that means? Like, you know, do you really know what you're, like, trying to do right now? Like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, this is a big, you know, thing that you're trying to, like, not have a lawyer for. And I guess that offended her. And once we left the courtroom after everything was said and done, she threatened to kill the judge. And our lawyer happened to hear that. So our lawyer went to whoever she had to go to tell the judge. And that actually helped our case.
Yeah.
Huge.
And then the next case, or the next
Hearing, she didn't show up.
hearing, she didn't even show up.
Yep. She didn't show up, and I got full custody of my kids April 17th, was it?
Mm-hmm.
April 17th of 2015.
And that January, we also made the decision to get baptized together.
Yeah.
So we knew that God had worked in our lives miraculously. We never believed in miracles, ever. Like, he grew up in church, like a different church, like really Pentecostal, like people faint and you put a towel over them. And I grew up in a church, and I told him when we first got together that he was going to have to go to church with me or we couldn't be in a relationship. So we went to church every Sunday, and we just knew that God was working in our life. And, you know, what did we need to do to make that statement of faith? So we got baptized together at Grace Bible Church in January. Dedicated our family not long after that. Something just popped up with that the other day. Dedicated our whole family not long after that.
It's today that it popped up.
Okay, it was today. And then also, yeah, that was all. Then she saw the kids once at Walgreens for like 4.5 minutes before our hearing. Because she still had visitation but never exercised her visitation rights. She stopped having contact as soon as CPS vacated the case. She saw them maybe once or twice.
She really, truly stopped trying to fight for the kids once I got married. Once I got married, she, like, literally was like, okay, well, I'm done fighting.
Yeah.
And she stopped coming to court dates more. She stopped, like, picking up the kids, basically. Like, it was every once in a while. And sometimes when she did pick up the kids, she'd be sitting in the passenger seat and it'd be her aunt or her sister picking the kids up. So once we got married, that really stopped her fight, which is really good. But it was still really hard on our family because we had to put in a lot of money. We were almost homeless, I think, like 2-3 months because of paying a lawyer fee, overpaying rent.
We had little miracles, though, where we knew that Jesus was working on our behalf. One time our water was set to get shut off, and we were like, whatever. We were prideful and didn't ask for help. We didn't know there was resources out there, so we were like, whatever, the water gets shut off. So we went to go to church, open the mailbox to check the mail because we hadn't got it that weekend, and in the mail was an envelope that was unmarked. And there was the exact amount down to the 42 cents in change that we needed to pay our water bill. No one knew. We didn't tell anyone.
Yep.
Another time it was our power bill that we called and we need to make a payment arrangement. Your payment went through, your account's brought current. We were like, oh, okay. Another miracle that we had happen was right before Christmas or Thanksgiving. Right before Thanksgiving, our stove blew up and we couldn't afford a new one. So we posted on Facebook, does anyone have a stove they're selling? Maybe an extra one they're not using or one for cheap that we could hustle up some money and try and buy. And some random stranger, random profile on Facebook commented and said, hey, there's a new stove waiting for you at Home Depot down on the boulevard. You just have to get someone to pick it up. And then that person's profile disappeared. Insane.
And we got the stove. It wasn't fake.
It wasn't fake. We went there and there was a brand new stove purchased for us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish that person, like, if they're real, that they could see us now or know, like, how much that meant.
Yeah.
It would be really cool, but...
Little things like that. Just like recently, it's so cool. We have a lot of people living in the house right now. Basically 3 families. And then some extras. And the light bill gets crazy high around here. And there's some months where, we're not able to pay the full balance, where we're having to put a little bit towards it, but not all of it. And for a while, it was kind of crazy, and thank goodness that's over.
We had a
But-
house where we had to have the AC running,
Yeah.
and it was an old AC unit.
Oh, yes.
So the power bill was like $1,800.
Yeah, it was
literally
$1,800. We got really behind on it because of that dang AC unit in the summer and whatever. And I don't ever answer phone numbers that I don't know. Like, it's crazy stupid coming from a Scentsy consultant to not answer phone numbers they don't know, because it could be someone wanting to order like 500 worth of stuff. And here I am like, I don't know your number. Gross. But somebody called me. I was in the middle of cooking breakfast, and I looked at the number, and I was like, I feel like I know this number. I'm going to answer it. And I did. And I didn't know the number. But the lady was like, hey, I'm looking for Johnny Nino. Like, is that you? And I was like, yeah. Like, is this a bill collector or something? Because what's up? What's happening? And she was like, no, actually, I'm so-and-so from such and such program. I came across your name. You were referred to us for whatever reason from whoever. However, they got my name. And I was like, okay, like, what do you need from me? What can I help you with? And she was like, well, actually, I'm here to help you. I just need a copy of your phone or your power bill. We would like to to give you some assistance on your power bill. And at the time, $1,800, I'm like, dude, if you can pay like $40 towards that, like, freaking pay the $40 towards it. Like, I was like, whatever you can pay towards it, take it. Jesus, take the wheel. Like, here it is. Here's my information. I'll send you a copy of the bill right now over an email. Like, whatever information you need, whatever you can apply to the balance, it's gonna help us huge. 3 days later, the lady calls back and she was like, hey, so, this took a little bit longer than usual, but I went ahead and I vouched for you, and I fought so that we can get the whole $1,800 paid for you guys. Again, cooking breakfast, and like, I just start sobbing, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? She's like, nope, we want to pay the full $1,800 for you guys. Don't even worry about making a payment arrangement with Idaho Power. We've already discussed it with them. They've notated your account. It's going to be a zero balance within the next couple of days. I didn't believe it. I honestly did not believe it, but I told Dina, I was like, you know what? This lady says she's going to pay all of our power bills, so let's see if that really does happen. 3 days later, my power bill went down to zero balance. So, people can tell me all they want that Jesus isn't real, but I'm going to tell you you're a liar.
Because it's not just luck. Luck, or, oh, you got luck, or, oh, the energy, or, oh, vibes, or, oh, whatever. Anyways, I'm sorry if that offends you when you say, like, sending good vibes. But sending good vibes, ain't nobody sending good vibes nowhere.
You're sending me Jesus.
Yeah. There's little angels. They're chilling with you, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so little miracles like that. And prior to that, we never believed in stuff like that. We were like, we had a little bit of faith. We were like, whatever. But literally, Jesus has always had us to crazy things. People, our Scentsy friends, helping us when Johnny's mom passed away. And
I would not be selling Scentsy today if it weren't for the Scentsy family after my mom died. Literally, I gave up every hope of anything after my mom passed away. Like, I did not care. I went to work late. I went to work mad. I went to late work with this horrible attitude. All of it, just horrible. So our Scentsy family, the way they picked me up, the way they lifted me up, and the way they reminded me that, this isn't the end. It's just right now. You're gonna get through this. The way they did that for me, incredible, man. I love them.
So then we got baptized, got full custody of the kids in April, and then chilled. Like, our life was this simple little life. Johnny worked at France still.
Mm-hmm.
Or Woodgrade.
Well,
France.
Are we going back in time now again?
Yeah, we're going back to where we left off because we trailed off.
Sidetracked.
We
after we got custody of the kids, everything was golden. She ended up pregnant, and at the time,
no, we tried to have kids.
Well, yeah, that's like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk to you.
You're trying to talk to me?
I'm trying to say that. I was just about to say that.
Oh, okay. Good. Finish it.
At the time when we were, people don't really try to get pregnant. Either you're doing it or you're not. So we weren't really trying to get pregnant. We was getting pregnant. I hate when people say that. It's so weird. I was trying to get pregnant. No, girl. Either you are or you aren't. You do the deed or you don't. But yeah, we at that time when we were trying to get pregnant, I was a stay-at-home dad. She let me stay home. She said that I needed that time with the kids, so I was really blessed with that. And then I was like, I'm over this. I'm ready to go back to work. So she ended up pregnant, ended up taking maternity leave, and
We won a trip to Vegas. That was our
Yeah.
first time ever traveling together. First time for you on a plane? No.
No, second.
But we got to go to Vegas because I won a trip for top performer with T-Mobile. We got to go on a trip right after the baby was born.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. My mom watched the baby.
Yeah.
But the month that the baby was born, get this. Jesus has jokes. Jesus has some sick jokes, okay? So the baby
Due January
is due in
4th.
January 4th. Okay? So I'm like, this is perfect. Naeli, one of our middle ones, she's January 8th. Isenia, the oldest, is January 18th. So we're like, okay, perfect. January 4th, boom, we'll knock this out. No. Sweet Everly was 2 weeks late. So she was born on January 14th. Guess what day January 14th is? The birth mom's birthday. So our child was born on his baby mama's birthday. Sick. Come on, Jesus.
Funny.
Anyway, so yeah, she was born, and that same, it was a week after that or 2 weeks?
Oh gosh, I forgot about that.
So 2 weeks after
It was
Everly
in
is born.
February.
Okay, so a couple weeks after Everly's born, I woke up to nurse the baby, and my phone rings in the middle of the night, right? Like 2 a.m. And it's her. She's calling me. I was like, how in God's green earth does she memorize my phone number of all phone numbers, and why is she calling me? So apparently she stole somebody's drugs. She got beat up. She was high as heck, hallucinating, whatever happens when you're on drugs. And she needed, is that, what's his face?
Choke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The heck?
You know. Go.
Jesus is crazy. Anyways,
He'll strike you dead for calling him crazy.
Jesus, I love you. You're a little crazy though. Okay, it's fine. And yeah, so she had said like, I need somebody to come get me. But oh hey, let me call you back. I'm at the Maverick in Caldwell. Let me call you back. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, I'm nursing a baby. Again, oblivious. And Johnny's like, no, you're not going. No, absolutely not. Because he can't go. Oof. I don't trust her. She'll like kill him or something. And so we were like, okay, well, let's pray about it. So we prayed, okay, Jesus, if you want us to do this, she will call back. If you want us to do this, she'll call back. 45 minutes later, she calls back, hey, I still need a ride. So I went to Caldwell in the middle of the night and got her. We brought her home. We explained to the kids what was happening and told her that as long as she was clean, she could live at our house. So she detoxed for a few days where she slept nonstop and was in a lot of pain and whatever.
Remember when I said I wasn't an idiot? I take that back.
He is a little bit. And so then we, again, continued to pray about it. She started going to church. She met Will and Wendy, which were like drug counselors kind of at the time, at Grace Bible Church. We had no idea who Will and Wendy were, which they later became our mentors, and we discipled with them. They discipled us individually and then together as a couple. They literally have helped change who we are. Jesus used them in mighty ways. Will and Wendy Sprunk, look them up. Anyways, and so she went to church with us. Johnny got her a job. She had a job. She was doing fine, I guess. I remember bringing her stuff, and there was meth in her stuff, and Johnny had to go through her stuff and not let her have it, and it was awful. And the smell of her stuff, the meth, like on her clothing and stuff, it was crazy. Anyway, so yeah, she lived with us for a month, 30 days. She decided that getting high was more important, so she relapsed. She was gone for 2 days, and that was it. Yeah, that was it. That was the last time really we ever had contact. She did write off all of the child support and surprised us with that the next Christmas.
Yeah, I think so.
So that was the last time really that we had any contact, but we tried. We showed the kids that we tried. We'll never forget the day that she left. We took the kids to Texas Roadhouse for the first time. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And we took them out to dinner. We explained that she was sick and what happened. We were just very transparent with the kids, especially the older girls. And they knew. Isenia especially knew. She knew. Yeah, and so fast forward to that May, we met Bree Katzenberger. Mm-hmm. superstar director of Scentsy, Brie Katzenberger. She was an
At the
SS.
time,
She was a star director at the time. Anyway, so she had given me a catalog or connected me with somehow. She had added me on Facebook, and I said that I needed Scentsy, and she
went to
said,
the
I
same
can bring
church.
you a catalog to church. And I was like, okay, cool. So she gives me this packet, and in the packet is a catalog, but it's like a join packet, like how to join
Opportunity
Scentsy.
packet.
I had literally sold every direct sale under the sun. How long have we been on here? Like forever and a year?
I don't know.
I had literally sold every direct sale there was, from makeup to weight loss to Tupperware to Gold Canyon candles to Scentsy to everything. I sold everything, and I sucked at it all.
You tried.
I tried, but I sucked at it all. And so he was basically like, direct sales, no thanks, not happening, no way. But let's get some Scentsy, because I freaking love my house to smell good. We would load our cart up at Walmart with bars, scented bars, because we loved our
Sticky
house to
cinnamon
smell nice.
bun.
We were both very clean OCD people, and we loved our house to smell nice. And so that was in May when she gave the catalog, and it wasn't until September that we ended up placing an order, and we got sticky cinnamon bun, which we still have the bar.
No, Brie
No.
gave me another bar.
Okay, Brie gave him another bar. We still have a sticky cinnamon bar because of that. So sticky cinnamon bun is his favorite. If you have sticky cinnamon bun, send it our way.
That is the
But-
scent that pushed me over the edge.
Yeah, so he then looked at the opportunity and was like, you know what? I want to be a consultant. I don't want you to be a consultant, because even though we don't believe in bad vibes, girl, you had some bad vibes with some direct sales. So we decided that he would be the consultant. It would be under his name for tax purposes, because at that time he was making the money. So we were going to go that route.
Yeah.
So we joined Scentsy September 24th. Of
2016.
2016. Brie was amazing. The best SSD we could ever have asked for us at that season in life, because she
She babied
became
us.
more than a leader. She empowered us. She believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. She literally is one of the most amazing humans. That's hilarious, Cassandra. She's one of the most amazing humans we know. And she literally just basically set us up for success. There was no way we could fail when she was,
Yeah.
that there for us. We helped her get to superstar director. Her and a bunch of us and a bunch of her other team helped her get to superstar director.
The November after we joined. I
Yeah,
think
the
it was.
November after we joined. Anyways, it was incredible. We never thought Scentsy would be a business. Never, ever, ever. 110%. That was not our plan. Never. Our plan was to get sticky cinnamon bun for free. I remember our first party that we did was huge. Our first check was what was our first check? That December, $800.
I think so. Yeah.
Our first check was $800, and Johnny scoffed. He was like, "There's no way that it's."
It wasn't our
$800."
first check. It was our first.
Well,
big
our
check.
first big check. The other ones were just small because we were just getting started, whatever. So 2 months, 3 months in, our check is $800, and so he was like, "Okay, maybe we could do this to make a little extra money. Maybe it could make our car payment, or
Maybe it was making us.
or at
Here
this
I
point,
was. Maybe it can make us a little bit extra money. Meanwhile, there's $800 on this card that I didn't have yesterday. But maybe it could make us extra money. What an idiot.
So, yeah, we decided, hey, maybe we'll try this. Maybe we will actually give it a shot and do what we can.
Yeah, because when we first joined, she sold and I didn't do anything. I didn't really, I posted every once in a while on Facebook, oh, Deandra's got a party closing,
But it wasn't our goal. He
Yeah.
was the consultant. I
Well,
was just his co-applicant.
when somebody first joined us and she messaged me for the first time and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I just joined your team. How do I do this?" And I was like, "Ew, why are you talking to me? Go talk to Deandra about this stuff."
And I will never forget my first really fun Christmas party that I did for one of our downline, Andrea, at her house. Her house was being built, so it was this little guest house, and I will never forget the orders coming in, and then she's like, "Okay, well, I've been researching it. I'm a mom. I want to pay for my son's preschool. I think I'm going to join you guys." And I was like, "Join us? What the heck for? Oh gosh, come
She was
on.
the second
what?
person to actually join.
Yeah,
us.
the second person, but like my first awesome party.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so confused why you want to join. Like, okay, I don't know what happened, but if you can see us, say that you can see us.
Yeah, we had just finished talking about Andrea.
What is that noise? Can you see us? Are they blocking our video? What's happening? I don't see anyone on. Can you see our new video?
Yeah, now you can.
Okay.
It kicked everybody off. That was weird.
So I don't know what happened, but Facebook hates us. That's Satan. He's probably like trying to mess with something.
Yeah, that's weird. It said that we were live, but on like the when you went under her profile, we were still live, and it
Yeah,
still
I was
said
still
live,
talking for
and
like
it said Deandra was live, and
20 minutes.
yeah,
I was talking forever. I don't know what happened. I don't
It
know.
was so weird.
Facebook. God's getting all the glory, and Satan sucks and turd.
yeah, I guess.
Anyways, okay, so
We had just talked about Andrea.
yeah, so our girl Andrea signed up. She decided to sign up to pay for preschool for her kids. She has literally done that every month since she joined. Paid for preschool for her boys.
No, why is it so dim?
I don't know.
Your brightness is all the way turned up. That's
I
weird.
know it's just being
Probably
weird.
because of the.
Anyway, so then we decided, okay,
Privacy screen.
we're gonna do the business like a business. We're gonna give it our all. So then in April of 2018,
18.
we it was Johnny's March of 2018. It was Johnny's sober month, 4 years sober, and I wanted to do something drastic.
Wait. Okay, I forgot. We skipped this part. So after Andrea, and then that was March of 2015. Sorry, I'm skipping 3 years. No, 17. Sorry, 17.
2017.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, so March of 2017 was like his 4 years sober. So I talked with Bree and we wanted to do something drastic. So we had 48 hours left in the month. We were Star Consultants, not even at Star Consultant numbers yet. And Bree and I decided to lock Johnny out of the workstation and decided that we could go ahead and hit director's numbers in 48 hours. Just go from Star Consultant to director and just skip the Superstar Consultant part. So in 48 hours, we were able to go from Star Consultant to director. We had 6,000 of our own PRV. Our team did the rest. We were over $11,000 in PRV. We needed 10 in personal retail volume or whatever sales. So we did it. We had a huge celebration at Andrea's house and had cake, and it was just really awesome. It was huge for us. It's the third highest title in the company, and it was just extremely, extremely amazing to be able to do that in that month for him. Which this month we would have been able to hit Superstar Director, the highest title in the company.
But we're not quite there yet.
We're not quite there. We need one more frontline director, meaning we need one more person out of the queue, which is they had director numbers, but they haven't hit it. What? Or we need another director to come up. So we haven't quite hit it yet, which is okay because again, in Jesus' timing is when we will hit it. But we are very, very close to the highest. Oh my gosh, are we at 79?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's Jesus. We need $80,000 in wholesale volume as a group to hit Superstar Director. We have $79,000 in sales. And then we're just missing that next fourth frontline director. So we need
It's
one
just
more.
incredible to just look at.
Yeah. Never did we imagine, since he was never going to be a business for us, ever. And we hit director, we sucked, we went to boot camp. That's where we met our boot camp family. Boot camp is a place where you go when you hit director. COVID sucks and ruined that. But boot camp's the place that you go when you hit director and you meet people, you have trainings and things like that. And it was incredible. We met our family, literally. People that have become closer to us than family who have helped us immensely. Huge. So yeah, we went to boot camp. It changed our lives. We wanted to hustle the business. So it was that September of 2019. No, that January of 2019 that we were like, okay, we're going to do this. We've got this 110% into this business. We started January amazing. We started February amazing. We made our first $5,000 paycheck. We'll post a little disclosure in the comments. just in case. But
me go
anyways,
post that
we
right
made our first $5,000 paycheck in February. We were like, this is it. This is what we were called to do. Johnny was working the most amazing job at
Jerry Gold.
Dairy Gold. He loved it. He did amazing. He made amazingly incredible money. And then March 2019.
My mom died. March 2019.
March.
My mom died, and so did a piece of me. Which really sucks because everything was going really good. We had just did World Tour like a week and a half before. Everything was going good in the Scentsy business. It just seemed like...
We had a little farm.
Yeah, it just seemed like everything was going good. My mom had moved with us the December prior. Her grandma had been with us for many years by then. So it just seemed like everything was going good. Smooth. We're just sailing along. Business is finally picking up because we're finally putting in the work. My 9-to-5 job was going great. No complaints there. And then 10 days into March, my mom passes away.
In our home.
In our home. It was just a regular old Sunday. Beautiful Sunday day. We went to church. Her and Grandma stayed home like they did every Sunday. They stayed home, had their coffee, made them their coffee. I remember that morning. Oh, I used to hate doing this. I used to hate making my mom's coffee. It used to bug me that she would bug me to make her coffee. But for some reason that morning when she asked me to make her coffee, I was like, yeah, Mom, I'll do that for you. With like the most sincerest response ever. And she was like, are you okay, mijo? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm just going to make your coffee. What the heck is your deal? Like, let me go make your coffee. Little did I know that would be the last time I made her coffee. We came home from church that day. Everything was going good. I had to work that night, so I took a nap. She asked me if I would take her a shower, and I was like, Mom, I need to take a nap. Like, Dee will help you a shower once she's inside from the kids. Like, she'll get you all that stuff.
We
done.
were
Like,
outside burning, helping
Yeah.
the landlord burn wood. We lived on a little farm,
Yeah.
so we were outside. Me and the kids were outside.
So, took my nap, got up, got ready for work. Dee was driving me to work at that
Nope.
time. Yeah, he did.
Shanae,
No, you
I
did.
didn't leave.
I thought you drove me to
Nope,
work.
I did not leave the house. I was in my rubber boots. I will never forget it.
I could have
Shanae
swore
came.
you
Nope,
drove me to work.
nope. Because Shanae, you had to call her, and she came right back.
Shanae came and picked me up, and I asked her where she was. I don't remember Shanae dropping me off.
Yeah, she came right back.
Oh, apparently Shanae dropped me off. But I remember I was running late. Work was like 4 minutes away from the house, but I was still running late. Imagine that. And I remember walking out the door, and my mom always sat on the couch right there by the door, the
She was
front window.
blind.
And she just loved to feel like the sun beating on like her back all day long. So she sat on that couch all day. And went to go walk out, and I had literally fully stepped out the door, and something made me step back in. And I stood at the doorway, looked over to my right, and I just stared at my mom. And I just stared at her. And it was probably like a good minute that I just stared at her, and I just adored her, and I just, from afar, just loved her. And I don't know what it was that made me stop and do that. It's weird now that I think about it, but I'm grateful that it happened. Go to work, and 45 minutes later, my mom is gone. I get home. She's already gone. Yeah. It was not easy. It was hard. It was, I think, the most, and I went through a lot as a kid, if you guys remember. I went through a lot, and nothing will ever top that pain. Never. It was really hard. I truly, really I didn't let myself go like completely, but like I did let myself go.
Yes, you did. The day
Well, I
that
held
she-
myself together, like,
for family and
yeah,
stuff.
for like
but
so that people looking in, like, oh, he's okay, he's doing good, but
We had-
inside I was dying. Inside I was lonely. Inside I was hurting. Inside I was grieving, and I did it on my own.
he was always raised not to talk about things, which is why when bad things happened to him when he was little, he never told anyone, so he kept it all to himself. And so even as an adult, which is a part why we go to counseling, or he goes to counseling on his own, is because he doesn't talk about things. He doesn't feel the need to communicate about his hurts and his pains or whatever. So he bottles that in, and then he struggles with it. But
Yep. So I struggled, and
we had amazing people, though.
Yeah, for sure.
The second she passed away, I called Will and Wendy. They came. Pastor Keith. Who else?
our house was full that night.
Marianne, Kyla.
Yeah.
Those officers, 2 police officers, like, took time out of their day to come back to the house and go into the room and sit on our bed with Johnny. And he shared, you know, like, I'm a drug addict. This is something that is hard for me. Like, now I want to go back. And they, like, encouraged him. They gave him their cards. We've seen them afterwards, and they always remember who we are. Our goats got out one time, and they came to the house and checked in on us. Tell me their names again.
Officer Glenn and
Derek
Cervantes.
Glynn and something Cervantes. Yeah, from Caldwell Police Department. Anyways, amazing people. His birth mom did not pass away. That she's still alive.
Yeah.
So Erica and Ruthie. So
Yeah,
Ruthie
is the one who raised
is the one
me.
who passed away.
The
That
one
was
who passed
his,
away.
yeah. Yeah. So literally from March on, it was living hell for me. He changed completely. He was awful. He didn't let people in, so he just bottled that up and just, it was awful. I wanted to leave so bad, but Jesus kept me there. He would go to work late. He didn't really care. He missed an important state test for the milk that he processed, and they called him in and fired him in May, right? So he lost his job, and I was like, perfect. Could things get any worse at this point? I didn't think they could. Grandma was still there, so we still had her to worry about, plus all the kids to help take care of, and it was insane. And so then from June, July to August to September, he had random jobs. He would get them, he would quit them. He worked one night shift one, and it was just awful. I remember him on 4th of July. I was just like, quit. Come home now and quit. It was so awful.
Yeah.
So he did, and then he got a job at a call center, but it was like so far away that it was traffic, and
Yeah.
that was awful. So then September 1st, I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this. We were basically kicked out of our home because we couldn't pay rent. We weren't working. He was off his rocker. I am so thankful to God that he didn't go back to doing drugs, because he easily could have. He just became a walking turd. But yeah, and so September, I was like, I'm doing this. I am doing this if I have to do it on my own. And I buckled down, and I worked with Bree, and I turned Scentsy into a full-time business for us. And that February, when we had our first $5,000 paycheck, we had crappy paychecks from then on, because I was like, I gave Brie every excuse. She's like, D, use Scentsy. Like, come on, like, Johnny's struggling. You can do this. I'm like, no, I don't have time. I have kids to raise. I have my grandma here. I've got him to deal with. And now he doesn't have a job. I'm going to have to get a full-time job. And she's like, you could use Scentsy. And I'm like, no, you can't. Scentsy is never going to pay our bills. Scentsy is never going to provide us the money we need. So please stop telling me that. Whatever. Live in your fantasy world. Literally is what I thought. Nonstop. My negativity was like overpowering. Nonstop. And then September, I remember September, I hustled and hustled and hustled. And by October, we had another $5,000 paycheck. And from then on, it was insane.
Close to at least.
Yeah. The business just blew up. And then Johnny got a job working with Ed. Some of you know Ed. Johnny had a developmentally disabled client. He worked with Angie, and she...
I plan to stay there for the rest of my life, because I
Yep.
really loved Ed.
Yeah.
Plan to stay there.
Yep, and so that was... Then he spent Christmas with us, Thanksgiving with us. We lived in another house. We ended up finding a house last minute. We moved every August 5 years in a row. It was awful. The house is sold right underneath us, or having to move out, so that was rough. But it was then... he worked with Ed, and I worked with Scentsy. And then in December, my grandma passed away in our home. That was really hard.
Because we had her for so long.
Yeah, we had 2 little old ladies that, you know, shaped who we were, prayed for us. The kids knew them. That was Everly's best friend. Both
Wake
of
up
those
and
little
they'd both
ladies.
be praying over me as I'm sleeping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, get out of here, creeps.
Yeah. So that was really hard. She passed away in December, and then we worked Sensi and continued. He continued with Ed, and we lived in that house, and we planned to stay there. And then Johnny's sister and her husband and their daughter came to live with us in January.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came to live with us, and that was a crazy transition with that many people in a very tiny house.
So then we brought more people.
Yeah. So then we, that was in January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then we just chugged along, and we said, you know what, we want to bring Johnny home. We want him to be able to enjoy the kids and work on our marriage, because we were definitely on the verge of divorce. And so we said, okay, since he can provide for our needs for the next 6 months, we will do it. And July 4th of 2020, our business boomed in 2020, even amidst COVID. And July 4th of 2020, he quit his full-time job and became a stay-at-home Scentsy wax boss. And since then, we have worked Scentsy full-time together at home. In August, we got the ability again, same week that we've always moved.
This time it wasn't forced, or
we got the ability to move to a big house out in Emmett, Idaho, which is a tiny little town, like 7,000 people, just outside of Boise, between Boise and McCall area. And we took it, even though we didn't want to move. We hated freaking moving. We thought we would be at this house forever.
the last house.
Yeah, Cindy must be.
Yeah.
We moved and moved to a huge house. And we were just really blessed by Whitney and Zane, which are really good friends who are also our landlords. And we were just really blessed, beyond blessed, to be able to live here. And the kids love it.
Yeah. We feel like everything bad that has ever happened to us, it's built us and shaped us into who we are now.
Totally.
I don't think 6 years ago, starting out, we could be doing the things that we're doing now.
No.
I remember 4 years ago, even 2 years ago, and like 2 years into the business, like I got frustrated, like, oh my gosh, like, why isn't this happening? Because I wasn't like D. I believed that, you know, at first I was like D. I didn't believe that Scentsy could do anything, but then I started to believe that it could. So, you know, 2 years into it, you know, you start to get frustrated, and you start to kind of like lose hope, because you just feel like you don't see the rewards from all your hard work. And then one day you wake up and like you log into your workstation and you're like, oh, whoa, what is our team doing out there? Like, slow down, guys. Like, my workstation can't keep up with all this progress. And then you look again and the numbers are even higher, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening? And, you know, to me, that's the reward. Those are the rewards of our hard work. Every time that I log into my workstation and I see that our group has gone up another 5,000 to 6,000 every hour, I'm like, that's pretty dope. Like, you know, that's incredible stuff. From the time that they wake up, you know, here in the US, until the time that we all go to sleep, they're all hustling, they're all doing something. And it never used to be like that. It was really hard. And now just looking at that, and for me, that is like a huge success to our story. Like, it's just amazing to see. It's amazing to know that, you know, that those numbers, all of that, it's not just because of all those people. It's because we took the chance on ourselves, because we said, you know what, we can do something crazy. We can take the last $49 that we have in our account, and we can invest it into this business, and we can hope and pray that something big is going to happen from it. And that's literally what we did. Even when we didn't think anything could happen from it, we were still hoping and praying back in our minds. So
For us, it was always relationships, and everything that we went through, it was, how can we love others well? That's our why. Like, with Scentsy, is we want to just be able to, it doesn't matter if we get to SSD, it matters what the people underneath us get to. We want them to get to SSD. We want them to get to have the higher levels. We want them to promote. We want them to succeed. For us, we want to be so financially stable that we can literally
just give back at
just
the drop
give
of a
back.
dime.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, for us, we don't give only because we have. We don't give because we have excess. We learned about that at church on Sunday, and that is not us at all. We give. I mean, if people wanted something or needed something, we would give it to them. 110%. That is our goal, is to just give back and to be there and be resourceful for the community. You know, the Sensi community, the community that we live in, and just, you know, united in Christ for his kingdom. And just giving back is huge. And that's our why right now with Sensi, is to just be able to give our kids the lives we never had, to avoid experiences that we had to go through, to be people that our parents weren't. Not saying they were horrible parents or anything like that, but just to always be better. Like, you know, Manny told Johnny so long ago, you know, hang out with better people to better yourself. Well, same thing. And so, you know, at the end of the day, that's our goal. That's our why, to just be able to use Sensi to completely change other people's lives, to allow Jesus to bless our business, because we never would have this business if not for Jesus. He has literally blessed us and blesses us every month. Sometimes some months we wonder where orders are going to come from, and then Jesus totally blows our minds. And we have a $3,000 PRV month, and our team is almost at Superstar Director numbers. Do we want Superstar Director now? Yes. It would be amazing to hit Superstar Director the same month that we hit Director. But it's all in Jesus' timing, whenever he wants it to happen. And he knows that if he can trust us with, you know, the tasks that would entail. So
Yeah, for me personally now, I'm no longer chasing the title. Like, it's cool. I love it. I think it represents something great. It represents a lot of achievement. But for me, I want more people to experience this life. I want more people to know that you can live a life radically different than everybody else. Like, it's possible. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth every single freaking wax bar that you're out there hustling. It's worth every single no that you get, even from your closest friends. We set up a Project Broadcast last night, and you know, would you add 100, almost 200 people?
no, 200.
Yeah, 200 people, and she kept getting back a lot of no's, even from people like that, you know, were like my friends.
Not even
like,
knows,
oh
they
my
just
gosh,
wanted
like,
us to stop text messaging.
yeah,
them.
like, okay, you guys can't even support us with like a simple like text every once in a while. Okay, but like, you know, it doesn't matter. All the support that we get, it's just simply amazing, and I'm grateful for all of it. Every single little tiny bit that is poured into this business, everybody who supports us. Even you guys as Sensi consultants, who you guys are always so uplifting, and you guys love us so well, and it's, you know, my messenger has been blowing up this entire time, and I've got like 18 messages to go read, because you guys, you know, you guys take the time out of your day to like message somebody and tell them like, I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm, you know, these last, you know, 8 years, like, that's incredible, and it's refreshing for me. Because I never had that before. I didn't grow up having any of that. I didn't grow up having this community. Like, even within my family, like, my family is not the greatest family in the world. Like, we're lucky if we can get through like a family reunion every 20 years without somebody trying to shoot somebody. But here, Sensi family, we're like, dude, it's been 2 years. We haven't been able to see each other. Can we do that now? Like, hello, can we do it like 3 times the first year we're allowed to, because we got all these years to make up for. So it's just been incredible to think of when I look back from the day that we joined. I can remember sitting at the table, getting everything processed on the computer, and then looking into the workstation and putting in our first orders. And you know, it's just like incredible to remember those moments when everything was just so small in the business, when it was just us. And now we're almost like 300 people, and our team is sitting right under $80,000 as a team, and it's mind-blowing. Honestly, like, it's just like, when the heck did that happen? Honestly, because I don't remember when that happened. Like, I remember when we had like 47 people, and we kept dropping down to 42, and then we'd get up to 47, and then we'd go back to like 39, and then we'd get up to 47 again, and it'd go back to like 40, and it took us forever to get over 50. Now we just passed 285 yesterday, and I'm like, what the freaking heck happened? When did we get so big in this, you know, like, this is cool. It's awesome. It's just humbling to know that the work that you put in now, it's going to reward you so big later on down the road, especially with Sensi. I can't stress it enough that if you want to be someone big in Sensi, if you want to have that big group, if you want to have that big community, then you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to put your toes in waters that you've never put them in before. Some of the water is going to be really hot. Some of it's going to be really cold. Some of it's going to make you uncomfortable. And
No excuses.
just know that when you are at your most uncomfortable, that's when you're growing, and that's when you're going to see the most success. Because I can't tell you, coming from a guy who used to hate people. I almost said still hates them. I don't. But coming from a guy who used to hate people, who used to hate talking to people, who used to hate even texting people. If somebody texted me, I swear I felt like they were standing across the room waiting for me to answer them. That's how bad I did not like people. Coming from a guy who now is like, dude, can I just like go to your house and hug you for like 10 minutes because I just miss you? Like, can I just like go and listen to you breathe while you like
You creep.
order like Scentsy from your workstation? Like, can I just go sit and watch you like whatever it is? Because I just love people now. I want the relationships. I want to build those, that type of stuff with people. And it's just crazy how much this business can change you as a person. It's insane. You go into this business as you was alone, and you just think, when you first join, like, I can never do what Lindsay Bates is doing. I can never join the circle of excellence. Like, I can never do that. And me today, I'm like, I'm going to be in the circle of excellence one day. You watch. You bet your bottom dollar. I'm going to be in circle of excellence one day. I'm going to make it happen. Because I know that it's possible. Because if those, 3 ladies that are in there now?
Yeah.
If those 3 ladies can do it, then why can't we? Why can't you? Why
us-
can't anybody else? Anybody can in this business. Anybody is able to be an SSD. Lindsay Bates started out as a essential consultant.
You need to get
Deanie Morehouse, she started out as a essential consultant. Jennifer Anderson, essential consultant. They're all SSD now. Some of them are in the circle of excellence. They didn't join Scentsy and know, like, I'm gonna be a top badass one day. I know it. No, maybe they did, because I expect Deanie Morehouse knew that she was gonna be top dog one day, because she just radiates excellence to me. But everybody else who joins, they're like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, this is scary. I remember logging into the workstation for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. What are you even doing here? And that was before they updated it. So, like, just know that everybody else starts alone in this business. You don't start out with, a team. You don't start out with, this group of people who automatically put you at this title. No, everybody starts out 0 at
And
that
never
lowest
giving
title.
up.
Yeah. Just know that if you just don't ever give up and you believe in yourself and you just put in the work.
Use those whys and those obstacles as excuses. That's what we did.
Yeah.
His mom passing, we use that as, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Every obstacle, we're like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. You want to put that roadblock? Okay, we're going to tackle that. So we've literally used, everyone has excuses. And I mean, the most common is I don't have time. I have too many kids. I have this or I have that. Currently in our household right now, under our care, this mess, we have 13 children and 5 adults. And we drive them to and from work. We take care of the kids. We have an extra child that we got guardianship of. Zoe brought a friend home from school and she never left. And then we got guardianship of her and we're helping her and her mom. And her mom is in a facility and working on herself. And then we have a niece and a nephew that live with us on Johnny's side. Because they didn't get to go to school in Washington, so they're here going to school, and we've been providing for their needs. And people say that, oh my goodness, I have too many kids, or oh my goodness, I have this or I have that. I have a nursing baby and 3 5-year-olds that don't leave the house, little chipmunks. And money wise, we never thought we would be able to provide financially for all of this. And people will give that excuse, well, I don't have money to put into the business. You do. Any money that you make from Scentsy can be budgeted right back into it to build your business, which is what we did. And it pays off huge. So use those excuses and those obstacles as your reason, as your why. Never give up. Your story is valuable no matter how little or how small you might feel. Yeah.
So that's our story.
That's our story.
We're
We felt we needed to share it. We've never really shared it from top to bottom. We've always shared bits and pieces. But we just felt like today, to kind of in honor of Johnny's 8 years of sobriety, that
She just wanted to make me cry.
that we would share our story and you know, it does help other people when you share your story, and it helps yourself. It's healing, right, babe?
Yes. Guys, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting our family. It means so much to us. You have no idea what your guys' words, even your guys' simple words, like, they just mean so much to us. If you guys have anybody who's struggling with addiction and they refuse to talk to anybody, I would love to talk to them. I would love to know their name so that I can just simply pray for them. When it comes to situations like that, I don't joke around. I literally will pray for that person right there in that moment. I want better for everyone. I want those people to choose a better life, because it's a choice. It's a choice that we make every single day, and one day you just have to wake up and say, I'm choosing life today. So if you're having somebody who's struggling with that, pray for them, love them, and just pray that they make that choice one day.
And
possible.
just know that just because people look like they have it all together, they may not be all together.
Mm-hmm.
We have marriage counseling tomorrow. We go to a life group tonight. We don't have it all together. We are literally...
I love when people message and
Barely
they're like, "Oh
holding
my gosh,
on." you're
you're so good with your kids. Will you tell me what you do?" And I'm like, "Girl, that's the blind leading the blind. I cannot help you there.
No.
Where's my walking stick? Because I can't see
Somebody
either."
asked us for advice the other day, and we were both like, we can't give you advice because we're in the same situation as you, and we have no idea what we're doing. We're
Right.
navigating in the dark.
Oh god.
So yeah, you can pray for us. We have 13 kids and 5 adults in this house, so pray for us. Pray for
Fun
us.
stuff.
Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all of your encouragement. Yeah, and never be afraid to reach out. We're here if you need help, or Johnny's better with words than me. So, anyways, okay, we are off. We have softball, life group, soccer, the
All the
joys.
stuff.
Okay, bye.
Peace out, home dogs.